Well, good morning, everyone. This is Lowell Ann, and I'm the moderator of Being Your Own CEO Mastermind. And this morning, I wanted to talk about finding your clients. Several people have been invited to join me, but I don't see them yet, so I'm just going to carry on. So first of all, I want to say a little something about what I do in my work style, lifestyle coaching work. I just love helping solo entrepreneurs find some direction or stay motivated and to build some systems that are going to support and help them promote their own businesses. One support that I like to suggest and to emphasize, of course, is this Google Plus platform, because I think it's a great place to find prospective clients and people that share the same interests. So that's a really good place to begin. And I really like to help people with my Beginners Google for Business, which is a local 3-part course that I do here. So anyway, just to get on with our topic in this mastermind, people come in and join in the conversation sometimes, and sometimes they don't. That's the luck of the draw, isn't it? So I guess the big question is, if we are using Google Plus, how do we find our clients? And I think the very first thing that's so important that many of us neglect to do, especially if we're solo entrepreneurs, is to define and be really specific about who our target client is, and find out as much about them as we can, so that we have some sense of where to find them. So I like to recommend a target client profile, an exercise where you spend a bit of time doing the research, finding out who those clients are. And when you're just starting out, that's a tough thing to do. You may think that your clients are one group, but then if you go back through your past clients, sometimes you get a big surprise and discover that they are a different group than you might have thought. So that's one thing that's really important. And when you're thinking about the target client that you like to work with, or that you think that you can help, then you need to be doing as much research on that target group as you can do. And there are lots of different ways to do that. But I like to recommend putting together an actual profile. I have a profile document that I often share with my clients to help them get really clear about who their client is. So, and that profile includes all sorts of information, such as the age group and the gender and the kind of business that they might be in. I like to include what I think are the typical Enneagram style. Then I like to get really clear on what their frustrations and their obstacles might be. I like to try to determine what their communication style is, what's their preferred way of communicating. Some of my clients really are uncomfortable with this electronic version, yet there are others that just really jump at the chance. So sometimes the client wants to sit down face to face over the table, looking each other face to face. So then let's see what else. I'm looking at my client profile sheet here. Well, a little something about what their goals are, what we know about what their goals are. and a little something about what platform they like to deal with in terms of social networking. Well, I guess the first question would be, are they into social networking at all? And so if so, where would we find them? So I listened to a very interesting, very long, but very interesting video yesterday, presented by Guy Kiyosaki. He's one of those people who is very, very savvy about social networking and has been doing it for a long time. And he had a rather interesting way of describing where to find your clients, or where the clients are when you're looking at the various platforms. And I thought I might kind of share that with people this morning. He said Facebook is about people, and it's about finding pre-existing relationships that you might have had. So these would be your old school buddies, these would be your friends and family, and maybe old clients that you might have worked with before or whatever. So he talked about the 5 platforms, and he developed some P words that would help us understand what each platform is about. And I thought it was really fun and worth sharing. So then he talked about Twitter as being all about perceptions, where you find little snippets about what's going on in the news, the 140 characters, of course, but little snippets about what's going on. And he talked about Google Plus, this platform, as being about passions. This is where you find people who are passionate about the things that they do. And so here's where you can make friends with people that you have something in common with. And then he talked about Pinterest, which is all about pictures, and he used the word primping. Finding pretty cool stuff, he said, primping for Pinterest. And last of all, he talked about LinkedIn, and he used the word pimping. So LinkedIn is really about people who are looking for jobs and who are wanting to do business development. So I thought those were kind of fun and worthwhile. But really, when you begin to think about your own client group that you want to work with, if you're a solo entrepreneur, you really do need to think about where in the social networking world is the best place to find your client. And sometimes, if your business looks at working with other businesses, then probably Google Plus and LinkedIn are good places to be and to pay attention to activities and so forth. If your client is a consumer, let's say perhaps you're a massage therapist, for example, maybe Facebook would be a better place for you, although some business people use massage therapists as well. So you kind of have to think about where that typical client would be. So maybe Facebook would be a good place if and or Pinterest, depending if you have a physical product that you can take pictures of, etc., then Pinterest might be a better place for you to go. So you really need to think clearly about where your client might gravitate and so forth. So then I guess the next question would be so once you've decided which platform, then what's the next step? And I would say the next step would be to find and connect with as many people as you can. And certainly on Google Plus here. There are ways to do that. One good way would be to find a community, one or two communities that really connect to the type of client that you're hoping to connect with, and make friends. Go in and add things and contribute and help as much as you can, and eventually circling people and finding ways to connect with as many people as you can and helping people. And then once you've begun to help people, then you can basically find different ways to direct them back to your website. Definitely your website is where you want them to end up, where you can sell your products. And what was it? Another really interesting thing that I found from Kiyosaki's presentation was to realize that you add as much value as you can. He said that you offer something of value 19 times out of 20, and the 20th time is when you can promote something that you're doing. So that you really would hope that people would by then trust you enough to even perhaps go back to your website and look. So that's a little bit about how to find your client on various platforms. Certainly joining groups and connecting with people in a one-on-one basis, and then offering things that you think will be of assistance to them based on what you know about them, what their obstacles and pains might be. So having said that, I'm going to wish everyone well and close for now, and we'll see you next week. This is Lowell Ann, Work Style Lifestyle Consulting. And if you have an interest in what I hope will be our next being your own CEO, I think we're going to be talking about procrastination. So if that's one of your obstacles, I invite you to join in next week. So bye for now, and thanks for joining me.